What's up, guys? This is just going to be nothing more than me just theorizing. I don't have any inside sources, as all these people claim that go, oh, I have an inside source that says Anakin's going to be a pony or whatever. No, none of that. I don't have any of them sources. This is just a theory, so just take it as such. It's already been floating the interweb that Snoke and Palpatine are connected, and hell, it's even been hinted at since the start of The Force Awakens. But I thought let's just delve into it a little bit. Let's just try and understand the two characters. Now, I'm not discrediting Andy Serkis when I say this, right? Andy Serkis, you did a great job for what little time you had as Snoke, so shout out to you. But Snoke is the person who's seen the Empire rise and fall. He even said it himself. His words, I've seen an Empire rise and fall or whatever. I think it might have been Mars, but you know, he's been around that length of time. And if you'll notice in The Last Jedi, there was a lot of speculation regarding the ring on his finger. And people were thinking, was it the Darksaber crystal, or is it like a precious artifact? And in the latest Snoke comic that was just brought out, that I was just read yesterday, he mentioned that, you know, Luke overthrew the Emperor, and he could have ruled the galaxy with him, kind of thing. Now, that to me sounds a bit familiar to a beloved Sith that we all know, love, and hate. And I think that is a signal of respect from Sheev to Luke. That Luke was able to best him using Vader. Think about that for a second. Just think about that, because it's all gonna connect. The comic states that if Luke was by his side, he would have ruled the galaxy. The dialogue pretty much matches the characters. The dialogue between Snoke and the dialogue between the Emperor is exactly the same. Now, unless they really are a bunch of hacks and they're just copying the scenes one by one by one by one to harp on nostalgia, then I bet you any money that it's a little nod, wink wink, for if they do the reveal that he was Palpatine all along, or Palpatine was controlling him, that, you know, they planted the seeds throughout these last two films. They planted the seeds. And I think releasing this comic now, just before the film's release, pulling Hayden Christensen and Ian McDiarmid from a panel event just on the same year, you know, in case of spoilers, the dialogue is literally exactly the same. Now, I'm going to try and throw a few clips in here just so you guys can see exactly what I'm on about, right? So, they both talk about destiny, right? They both talk about destiny and how when they're talking to the other person, it's their destiny to be on their side, or, you know, to execute an order, so to speak. Not that one. Not that one. Then you've got young fool. You know, a lot of the dialogue matches up word for word. You've got young fool, it was I, and then they do this thing after they do all the monologuing. They show them the destruction of the fleet at the end. So you've got Palpatine showing Luke the destruction of the rebellion, and, you know, them losing all the frigates and all them. And then you've got Snoke throwing Rey, like literally throwing her over there by the scope, so she can see the resistance being bombed to hell. Now, if that doesn't scream parallel, I don't know what does. Unless I'm reading too much into it and it's wishful thinking, and then Rian Johnson is an actual hack and just copied the scenes. I don't know. Hopefully not. Hopefully, you know, again, Ryan, if you ever see this, you know, I respect what you did. I just don't like some of the shit you did. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest. And there's a top 10 a top 10 video coming of the top 10 moments The Last Jedi pissed me off. Right, and trust me, I got pissed. I really got in my feelings. Now, I could be absolutely wrong, and it could be just copy for copy, or it could have been the plan since the start. Now, just picture this, right? You go into the new trilogy, right? You introduce a bunch of new characters that have no ties to anything before it. What's the one thing that's left? The one thing that ties everything to before. That's Kylo Ren. What if, right? Because Palpatine influenced the midichlorians to create life. He even said this in Revenge of the Sith. He said, you know, he found a way to stop other people from dying, and he couldn't save himself, like when he was talking about Darth Plagueis. And fantastic scene, by the way. You know, have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? No, it's not a story the Jedi would tell you. You know the rest. And Sheev influenced the midichlorians to create Anakin within Shmi. Now, I know that sounds really messed up, but it got me thinking. What if not Anakin, Sheev's plans had plans? What if, even if he wins, he wins. Even if he loses, he wins. What if? Just think about that. Sidious was undoubtedly the most powerful of the time. Yoda couldn't even go toe to toe with him for too long. He even bested Yoda. The only person to actually best him was Mace Windu. That was the only person. Obi-Wan wasn't strong enough. Anakin was busy on Mustafar. So Mace Windu was probably the only one who could do it. Yoda was still in with a good chance, but come on guys, based it on the film, Yoda lost. So, you know, no matter what way we slice it, no matter what excuse we give, Yoda lost. Yoda lost that duel. He lost. And Sidious came out with the better hand, and, you know, the rest is history. I mean, look at it this way. Maybe I'm just reaching, and Snoke's his own character. Snoke's his own thing. But what the fuck are you doing? Why? Why build him up to be this big thing in The Force Awakens, then stick a lightsaber through him like that, and then you say, well, your favourite character is Darth Maul, and he had a lightsaber put through him. Right, okay. There's context to two different characters. Darth Maul was advertised as a mercenary of the Sith. He was advertised as a mercenary, and you probably knew this guy weren't going to make it out the film. You probably knew that, right? You probably knew that before it happened. Obviously, I'm still not happy with the decision to kill off Maul. Never have been. I would have liked to see him stay around the whole trilogy, or at least 2 of the 3 movies, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to completely defend it. But when you've got Snoke, right, and this is why Snoke and Maul is 2 different things, because you still had Sidious in the back pulling the strings. Who is the Sidious of this trilogy? There's no threat. Hux is a joke. The First Order isn't intimidating. Kylo Ren is busy trying to force Skype Rey to please the shipping brigade. You know, there's no imminent threat. Alright, you've got Starkiller Base. Alright, okay, blows up 5 planets. Alright, okay, haunting scene, powerful scene. Alright, you've got Snoke's ship, Supremacy, that was brought in. The biggest ship in Star Wars canon history, right? And then all of a sudden, hyperspace thing ran right through. Like, what's the end game here, you know? And now we've got 40 odd Imperial Star Destroyers all scattered around up there. And I swear to God, if that's part of an illusion, because I have a little video there expressing my concerns for the trailer, called "The Trailer is Designed to Mislead You." Because I'm telling you, something about them Star Destroyers, it doesn't look right. Something to me just screams that it might be an illusion. They've already and before anyone comes to me and says, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Listen, how many times have they misled us so far? Think about it. Finn was advertised with the lightsaber for Force Awakens. Rey was the one who used it. The Last Jedi, Rey was going to join Kylo. She never did. The trailers are misleading as hell. We thought Luke was Darkseid. I mean, there was even this crazy theory that when Episode 7 was being released, that Kylo Ren was Luke Skywalker. I'm like, you can clearly see they've casted Adam Driver. I mean, crazy. But if any of you have played the Battlefront 2 campaign, you know and obviously spoiler if you haven't played it, but I mean, come on, you know, if you haven't at this point, then I don't know what you're doing. Luke goes to a planet to collect an artifact. Now, he raids the base with Del, and, you know, he says to Del, you know, do you mind if I take this? And Del says, no, why would I do that? Because I asked. And if anything, the Luke Skywalker in the Battlefront 2 campaign felt more like Luke Skywalker than the bloody Last Jedi Luke Skywalker. How'd you do that, Ryan? God. But back to it. It would be 100% perfect if this was the setup, that they were both going and collecting artifacts, and then maybe Snoke, because they said that Luke he stumbled across him. They crossed paths. So how the hell, right, Luke, the most powerful Jedi of all time, how did he not sense that Snoke was literally one of the most powerful beings in the universe, and had the means, the evil means, to basically formulate an army? Why did he not do anything? These are the kinds of questions that are now being asked. So, this would make sense if Snoke was looking for the artifacts too. Snoke was his own thing. Think of Harry Potter and Professor Quirrell, right? Professor Quirrell was a teacher at the school, but Voldemort was on the back of his head, right? He was here, on the back of his head, right there. And you never knew. You never knew unless you read the book. You never knew until it was revealed. And I'm scratching the back of my head now, you see. It's going to be a hand that reaches out in a minute. But think about it like that. He's inhabiting Snoke's body as a vessel. The idea of Palpatine is what's going to be the villain in the next film. Not necessarily a physical being, because his body is gone. It was incinerated. But the idea of Palpatine is still very much alive. And there was an idea in Legends that he cloned himself. Now, obviously, a lot of people would think that's goofy, but it ties into Episode 2. You know, there was clones that existed. I mean, you even referenced it in... That's another thing. They even referenced this in The Force Awakens. Kylo says to Hux, maybe Snoke should reconsider using a clone army. Like, this would be the perfect setup, because they planted seeds throughout the trilogy. Or unless they just screwed the pooch and they're trying to retcon everything and rework it, and then, you know, that's fine. If we get a cool movie, I'm fine with it. It just shows that you had no plan from the start. But, you know, again, as long as we get a good movie, I'm happy. Sidious is a master for knowing more than he lets on. Sidious is undoubtedly the brainiest Star Wars character besides Tye'ronn. Like, his level of intellect is what led to him being in power. He manipulated the entire system of Coruscant and surrounding planets and everyone in the Senate. He manipulated the entire thing to his own needs, and he manipulated everyone around him. He made puppets of the Jedi. He made puppets of the Sith. He made puppets of everyone. So, it would make sense for the Puppet Master to still be doing that. It would make sense as to why Luke holds a lightsaber over Kylo. What if Palpatine was the reason Luke had that vision? What if Palpatine was the reason Luke felt like that? And what if Palpatine was the reason Kylo thought his uncle was going to bloody kill him? Think about it. What if he was the reason for that? Now, obviously, I'm not a fan of that scene. You know, you don't want to give up on your dad, right? Your dad who slaughtered fucking kids, killed thousands of Jedi, killed his wife. You know, went to town on several Jedi after it collapsed. Kills his own soldiers, right? Kills his own soldiers repeatedly. But no, I'm not going to give up on you. You're my father. I'm not going to give up on you. Oh, Kylo Ren has a bad dream. Oh, got to ignite the lightsaber now. Got to ignite the lightsaber. I'm sorry. I don't buy that. Never will do. Doesn't make any sense. Sorry. And you can try and say 30 years have gone by or whatever. Listen, 20 years have gone by for me since I was fucking 2. I still am a fan of most of the same shit 20 years later. You don't change that much unless you have some major traumatic life thing happening. And as far as I know, Luke didn't have that. Oh, but it'll be explained in a book somewhere. It's the problem with this new era. It's got to be like fucking 20,000 books to understand the movie. Everything you need is in this movie. You don't need books, you don't need nothing. Every other flipping movie nowadays, you need 10 books, 20 comics, and 5 novels, and then, I don't know, a Hello Take a Break magazine about it. Right, back on topic. The biggest problem with Sidious, throughout the whole of Star Wars, the biggest recurring theme is his overconfidence. His overconfidence is his biggest weakness. And it showed in Return of the Jedi. He underestimated Luke and everything. And Luke managed to turn Vader while Palpatine wasn't looking. He picks Palpatine up, throws, fucking rock bottoms him down the shaft. And then, he's just like, whoa, I didn't expect that. And then Snoke suffered the same fate. He thought, Kylo's going to fulfill his destiny and he's going to kill you, and kills his enemy, so to speak. And then all of a sudden, Snoke gets the Darth Maul treatment and he looks down like this. And then, like, do you see the parallel between the two characters? It's exactly identical. Now, unless it's just copy for copy, I think there might be a seed there. There might be a good seed that can grow a very good story out of it, right? I think this is more to the reason. Now, I don't want Kylo to die. I've made this clear. Do not fucking kill off Kylo Ren. That's the stupidest decision you can do, right? Anakin was meant to fall to the dark side to lead into Darth Vader's story. Luke was meant to be the opposite of both of them two. You fucked that up, right? You screwed that up because he did exactly the same thing. Alright, he didn't go and kill a bunch of kids, but he basically was going to go and do the same thing. He was going to kill his nephew. That's not the point of Luke. Luke was meant to be the opposite. But here we are. So, Kylo Ren is the redemption that both of them haven't been. We've seen a glimmer of Anakin redeeming himself by throwing Palpatine over, creating balance. Then Luke had his moment on Crate, saving the Resistance. But, Kylo Ren is the one that can really make this story feel worth it for the previous two characters. Because Luke Skywalker in this trilogy just feels nothing to me. He's just there. Like, this is Luke Skywalker, like the greatest character in cinema. I mean, come on, Do something with it. And they say, oh, it's because he didn't pull down a Star Destroyer. You go and read your 20,000 books. Keep Lucasfilm happy. You read your 20,000 books. You let me enjoy my stuff, alright? Cool. Now, where was I? I think Kylo will at least redeem himself. If he dies, then he dies. As Drago would say, if he dies, he dies. I don't want them to kill him off. I want him to survive, and I want him and Rey to basically be balanced, because otherwise you're back to where you started. How the fuck is Rey supposed to be the balance in the New Order going forward if she's just light side? If you have her and Kylo, right, you can take that canon explanation of them bleeding their crystals, right, bleed the crystal into the grey saber, and then, build a new temple on Tatooine or something. And end it with a binary sunset of Rey, Kylo, building the New Order with the Force Ghosts in the background. Boom! I've literally just made you $1 billion. Christ. Come on, Lucasfilm. Please work with me here on this one. I really want this film to be good. What else have we got here on my notes? Yeah. The Emperor has no competition. He's had no competition, which is what leads to his overconfidence. No one is a match for him. No one. So, the gloating and the showboating is exactly how Palpatine gets his kicks. And this, for me, further shows why this story, this film coming up, you won't see him physically, but you're going to see Kylo and Rey individually taking him on in a vision, or mentally, or astrally, or spiritually through the Force with the help of the Force Ghosts. It only makes sense. Now, there was a big rumor that Matt Smith was meant to be involved with this movie, and they've quickly, made the rumor disappear. Now, for me, he's either going to be a Knight of Ren or a young Palpatine. He's going to be one of the two, and either or I'm fine with. I'm fine with that. Matt Smith in the Star Wars universe? Hell yes. Doctor Who for the win. It'll make good for them Doctor Who compilations if you see him holding a lightsaber. Like them fan-made ones where they put all the universes together kind of thing. Anakin needs to appear. I can't stress this enough. He's the chosen one. He was created by Sheev. This is the perfect opportunity, right? Let me just move that down a little bit. the perfect opportunity to wrap it up full circle. You know, he created Palpatine. Palpatine created Anakin. Anakin helps Rey and Kylo defeat him once and for all. So therefore, the prophecy's still intact, that Anakin is the chosen one, still, and Rey and Kylo bring balance. You've split the chosen one prophecy across them 3 characters. That, for me, would bang. I'd be a fan of that. You know, you won't have any complaints from me. Leia will live. Leia will not die in this film. If they didn't kill her in the last film, with that little, you know, Carrie Poppins thing, then she won't die in this one. I hope that, you know, we're already fucking lost Han, coolest character ever. We lost Luke, right? He's a Force ghost, but he's still dead. You dare kill off Lando, and you dare kill off Chewbacca. Don't touch them, right? But I need at least them 3 to live out this trilogy. I need Leia to be living out this trilogy when peace is brought to the galaxy, and maybe just retiring to a farm somewhere and just living out her last few days, you know, living the, for lack of a better term, living the pensioner life, you know, living a life of freedom and peace, you know, justice and order has been restored to the galaxy, freedom has been restored to the galaxy. Let's give Leia a break, but do not kill her off. Let her live out the trilogy. Let her live it out. That just, to me, would only make sense. Now, if you think about the ending of each trilogy, right, you got Revenge of the Sith, right, where Sith was basically all about the Sith and the darkness and the evil and stuff, and the prequels are, you know, for as much as what the shit the people give the prequels, they are dark films. If you think about it, in the first one, you've got slavery. In the second one, you've got Anakin slaughtering people. In the third one, I mean, come on, we know, you know what it is in the third one. You know what it is. You already know what it is. In Jedi, you've got more of a hopeful vibe, you know, positive. You know, you've got the Ewoks and everything. There's still dark undertone, but it, especially when it pertains to the Emperor. But overall, the film is pretty light-hearted. You know, you have a lot of fun with the crew, and you go on this like story with them, and one last ride. And that's exactly what this is going to be. It's going to be a buddy cop thing between all of them, just having one last ride together. And now, obviously, the film of this trilogy is Skywalker, so you get Sith, Jedi, Skywalker, Kylo, Rey, balance. I mean, come on, makes sense. Now, if this was all, that's the end of my notes. But if this was all a, and look, you see, I grabbed that at the Comic-Con. See, chosen one. If this was all just a simple kind of retcon because Rian Johnson did fuck it up and screw the pooch, or because J.J. Abrams did fuck it up, I don't know. I really don't know. I respect both filmmakers. J.J. Abrams has made some great films. I love Rian Johnson's film Looper. So if they watch this, then no discredit or disrespect to you guys. From one person trying to break into the industry to people who are in it, I've got a lot of respect for you both. I just don't agree with every decision you took. For instance, JJ making Luke disappear in the first place, but leave a map to himself. Rian Johnson, oh, I came to this island to die, but he left the map to himself. Screws my head a little bit. But yeah, that's just what I feel. I feel that Snoke is a puppet. He's simply a vessel that the Palpatine has been using. Palpatine has been using to build up an order along the side. From this, watching in the shadows. And now Snoke's dead. Maybe he tries to take over Kylo Ren. Maybe he tries to take over Rey. It's all very possible. And again, it brings me to my point that I made in my Kylo video. In Pirates of the Caribbean 5, Salazar's Revenge, or Dead Men Tell No Tales, whatever you want to call it, whatever part of the world you're from, Salazar possesses Will's son. He possesses Will's son. Spoiler, but your fault. Well, actually, it's kind of my fault this time. But yeah, he basically possesses him, and he says to Jack Sparrow, "You cut me, you cut the boy." I could see them doing that. He's going to take over Rey or Kylo, and then one of them's going to have to go on the defensive. Now, you see that duel at the end with the water and the pieces and whatnot. That's that's Revenge of the Sith Mark II with water. And I have a theory that one of them's possessed. One of them's possessed and one of them's on the defense. And I really hope that Kylo doesn't die. But if Kylo does die, I hope Ben Solo is born or reborn. You know, at least... I mean, come on. I know it's the last Skywalker film, but do we really need to kill off the last in the bloodline? Really? Come on. But that's pretty much all I have to say on it, guys. I mean, I didn't realize how long this video is. It's like 25 minutes. But yeah, guys and girls, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. What do you think about this? Is it a case of my Snoke theory sucks and I'm going to be called every name in the book just because I have a theory? Or are you a fan of this idea and do you think it's something that they could do? I think it's definitely something that they could do, especially after everything that's been going on with Star Wars lately. I think it only makes sense and it would be fun to see. It's predictable and it's expected. But hey, everyone knew this was going to be a time travel movie. Did it stop people going to watch it? No, which is why it was near 3 billion. And it's the #1 movie of all time. I'm just saying, you know, you've also got to think, right, you've got to think rewatch value. With The Force Awakens, people went and rewatched it because it was just pure nostalgia and it was OT fanboyism, you know, and that's why it didn't really gel with me. I enjoyed it, but it didn't really gel with me too much because I'm a prequel fanboy. You know, I'll say it, I like Attack of the Clones. Screw it, I really couldn't care what your opinion is on it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. And hey, you know, it's like you could say the same to me. Oh, you know, you don't like The Last Jedi. I like it. Fair enough. I'm just letting you know why I don't like it. And that's it. Just opinions are opinions. And, you know, there's a delete... You know what? Screw it. There's a deleted scene, right, from Phantom Menace that I'm going to leave at the end of this video. A deleted scene of Qui-Gon giving Anakin a very important lesson. Anyway, I'm done. Throw him a pen over there like an arsehole. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, subscribe and share. Comment down below what your thoughts are so that way we can continue discussing, because, you know, I only like to keep conversating, and hey, maybe you guys could give me an idea or two and I could learn a thing from you. So that also rhymed. See you in another video, folks.